we're keeping the swim bait game going. We got two other swim baits, the RT Shad Paddletail and then the Subtle Tail Paddletail. Is that correct? I might have the names wrong there, sorry.
Actually have three.
Three, okay.
All right, so I'm looking at the RT Shad.
Okay.
First. And that's what the RT Shad is. I think Chris is digging one out. Chris has been stealing these off the shelf, catching them, the post-pond schoolers here at Guntersville. So I know he's a big fan of them. And the RT Shad is a solid body shad. This bait is solid. So this is a very durable bait. It's soft. It swims fantastic. It's got a big kicktail boot on it. And the idea behind this is to have something that is durable. It's got a lot of movement. It's a lot of that reaction bite, from the movement. Great warmer, to me, a warmer water swim bait, but just swims fantastic. It's extremely durable.
Yeah, and it's the right size. I mean, very few times can you pick up a swim bait that has the right eyes in it. It's got the right placement for everything, and then of course with the coloring in the back, the size is just right in the depth of how much color goes in there, because you don't want a half and half. I mean, how many times you see a bait fish that look like that? So as far as resembling the bait fish or a minnow type bait, this one does perfect.
Yeah, we've got it in 7 or 8 shad colors. You get the color, whatever color you want. It's available in a 3.5 and a 4.5. We're actually working on a 6-inch, not currently available, because like everything, we're going to play with it until it swims like it's supposed to, but these two are right.
Beautiful. And before we move on to the subtle tail, Chris, can you tell us, how are you rigging this bait? Are you throwing it on an open jig head, a weedless hook? What are you looking for here?
Yeah, you can throw this on, you can throw it on a belly hook, you can throw it on a jig head, you can throw it in really whatever preference that when you're throwing that bait and you look down, you're like, that works for me, or those fish are biting it. So if they're shallow and in the grass, you throw it on a weighted belly hook, that's weedless. If you're in, that's the great thing about Guntersville and trying all these baits and going through these baits, is you get to try them in so many different scenarios. So with a jig head, you could put this on a jig head and throw it out there in that 10 foot of water straight off of the grass drop and catch them on a jig head. But if all the shad are up in there and they're in that scattered grass and they're everywhere, throw that out there. You're going to switch it up. You're going to put it on a weighted, weighted swim bait hook. I use and you don't need a big hook. I use a Trokar 3/0 and with a little weighted belly and with the screw on the front, and it works fantastic. So just one of those things of personal preference in the situation where the fish are at.
Sure, interesting. Well, yeah. We also have this subtle tail swim bait here that I'm really excited about. This is a cool little swim bait. Can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, so this one is opposite of everything he said. So this, let me break one of these out, and I got to tell you the story about this, because this is a fun swim bait. It's available in a 3.8, a 4.5, and a 6. This is the 6-inch in that bait. This is the 3.8 in that bait. So this bait is designed for when you don't want a boot tail, when you don't want a kick. We talked earlier, Chris and I were just talking about how often less is better in fishing. Weightless Senko, all these techniques, even up here at the aggressive, we were fishing for smallmouth this week up at Sturgeon Bay. A lot of the guys were talking about making a super long cast with a drop shot and letting it sit, just soaking the drop shot, because those fish will watch. They don't want movement a lot. So this little bait, we call it a subtle tail because it has a tiny little tail and not very much plastic holding the tail on, and it doesn't do much, okay, except catch fish. That's what it does. It catches fish. I'll tell you this real quick story because it's fun. So we're working on swim bait designs, and of course I'm swimming next to the boat. Sean is with me. Sean Scholar, who works on all our procurement, product development, and all that stuff. Sean's not the greatest angler. I said that publicly because he's sitting in the room, and I can jab him with everybody watching. But. So I'm testing these baits, and I put this on a lead head, and I swim it by the boat, and it does like almost nothing. And I'm like, well, I don't know, wasn't very exciting, you know, it doesn't look good in the water. So I'm re-rigging this stuff, and Sean's in the back of the boat, you know, and it's a tough time of the year. It's September. You know how it is, Chris. It's tough here in September. And Sean catches like a 4.5 pounder, you know, just in the back of a drain, a grass drain. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty good fish, you know, and he's throwing this bait. And I'm still re-rigging some stuff. I think it's like a 3.5 pounder. And this was in the fall when they really can be hard to catch. And you know, so that was kind of my first key, that the thing must work pretty good. So I have taken it, and for me, this bait, this is my Clearwater bait. This is the swim bait that I throw like this past week when they were kind of hard to catch, especially out up at Sturgeon Bay. But this bait will draw strikes when they're finicky, and which is real important to me. You know, a lot of these guys drive up to these massive schools of feeding fish. I don't do that. I work my tail off for the bites I get, okay? You know, I'm always having to work for my bites. I don't find those Justin Lucas holes, okay? 75 of them fighting over each other. So this bait is perfect for that situation when they're hard to catch. It's maybe one of the most exciting deals we got.
Yeah, very cool, guys. And we need to know, when is that shipping to us, because I need a few of those.
Yeah, when that bait, the last 2 baits you guys in the office, that was all the ones from today that you guys are most excited about.
Yeah. When are those shipping, Boyd?
Yeah, so all this stuff will be available at Tackle Warehouse, I would say, and Sean's in here, November. Yep, October.
All right.
Probably be ready to sell by October.
We'll say fall and keep it very general.
Yeah, we'll say fall so we don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Everybody knows with COVID and the restrictions on manufacturing and employees, it's slower than it should be right now. But
sure.
But
well,
we're excited.
Thank you guys for taking us through that.